Okay, good morning, everybody. We are going to work through chapter 3 in your PowerPoint textbook, which is where you're starting, because technically you should have covered the previous chapters in the previous doc course. So, this is from the 2019 edition of the PowerPoint 365 textbook. Okay, so this is probably going to be pretty short. I've created a one slide here of things we hate to love. Just hauled something out of my head this morning, so maybe I'm hungry and craving junk food. Who knows? But this is what I came up with this morning. So as we work through it, a lot of the stuff is so much like Word that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. So, like with anything, once you click on it, these dots that go around it in Word, this could be like a text box. So, but with PowerPoint, these are placeholders. So this is where you would do your text. So once it's selected, then you can change different things about it. So once we highlight it and we can get in it, we can highlight some font, and then you can change your font just like you would do in Word. So whatever font you chose, it would just change the font for that whole area. So it covers all the basic stuff. So you've got your bold and you've got your case change. So case change, if you're not familiar with it, is a great one. So for us right now, we're going to change this to capitalize each word, which would be title case. So it'll capitalize everything for you. So you can change the case anytime you need to. And same thing for font size and colors and highlighting and bold and all that stuff. So we're not going to get into much more of that. This covers pretty much it. We're just going to turn this so that it looks more like a title, and we're good. So we'll just change our font color and we'll leave it like that. Okay. So these are the ways we can change our font. And if you need to change, if you're looking for more font options, just like Word, you use the little arrow for your pop out, and then you can access additional font features that you can't access from out there, like the strike through and the small caps and that kind of stuff. Okay. So one thing that's pretty cool with Word and most, I think it's all of the, oops, wrong screen again. You can use your format painter. So if we really liked the format of this up here, we can use our format painter and we can apply the same format. So it just takes everything that you've done and format wise and applies it. So that's a quick tip tool. So if you wanted all your titles on every page to be exactly like you designed on your first one, then you would do your format painter. Another feature that I don't think Word has, I was actually going to go and check because I've never noticed it before, is the replace font. So if we had all of our slides done and we decided that we didn't really like this, we can go in to our replace option, and instead of replace text like we do in Word often, we can replace fonts. So if we said, no, we don't like that font, we would like to replace that with something different, then you can replace it. And there you go. Anything that was in that font can be replaced with the replace font button. So that is, I like that. That's pretty cool. So one of the other things they want us to talk about in this chapter is turning on columns. And we have done this in Word, but with Word, we have to really focus on things like section breaks and turning off section breaks and where we want our columns and what part of the pages we want our columns and these things. But with PowerPoint, because each thing is individual into its own box, then there is no section breaks, so you don't really have to worry about that side of it. So when you choose your columns, you can choose them here, and there's also more column options. So you can adjust your spacing and the number of columns you want turned on. So In this situation, if we just said, let's just turn this to 2, then we would just go here and we would shift, no, control enter. Nope. I did this morning too. Alt enter, I think. No. Shift. There it is, shift enter. I thought it was shift enter. So with shift enter, you're not going to get the bullets to carry on for you. So if you just hit enter, you're going to get the bullets. But when you do shift enter, you can move your font around and there's no bullets. The bullets are not created for you. So then you can turn it into a 2-column situation. So then if you want it to say, okay, well, it doesn't really look right. So if we want it to reduce the size of it and then reposition it back into the center, we can just click on it and say center. Oh, nope, that centers our text. Sorry. So when we drag it, PowerPoint will give us a lineup. So once we hit center, a dotted line will appear for us. So we can adjust it that way. Okay. Now, if we need it to indent something, it's the same thing. We do have our indent buttons. So once you indent it, it'll change for you. You can also adjust your bullets and numbers. So if you have your bullets here and you want it to change them to something different, you just go through your list and pick out what you want. If you want something that's not there, you can go into the customize option. And once you go into the customize option, then it's a very large list of available symbols that you can choose from. And in your drop down list, there's piles and piles and piles of different symbols for different situations that you can use. So if you're looking for some of the cutesy stuff, that's always in the wingdings. So in the wingdings is where you're going to find the arrows and the symbols and the fancy stuff and the happy faces and all that stuff. So if you want it, you know, to put in a sad face because we're sad about loving all this junk, there you go. You can do something like that. So that's done through your bullets and your options that you can choose here. Okay. And you can obviously just alter one if you need it to. So the same thing for numbering. If you decided to choose numbering, you do need to select everything that you want edited. So if you want it to turn off bullets and turn on numbering, you can do that as well. And it's all very, very similar to Word. So that one is not much of an issue for you. Now, if we decided we wanted to change the position of our um, title and we wanted the font to be a different direction, we would do that into case change here. So under our paragraph, we have the text direction. So if you work your way through it, you would want the text that ran up the side, and then you're going to have to resize your box to see if it fits. You can manipulate it, and here you're going to decide that I definitely need to reduce my font size, and then you're going to get it to the way you want it. And then you can just position it however you want it. And Word also has a horizontal line pop up to let you know that you're exactly at center. So that's how you would change your text direction. And I just walked through the numbers and the bullets. And now we can change. We're going to just quickly look at formatting. So once you have your text box selected, double click on the outside of it so you get a solid line. And then you can go into your text box. So you're looking at background colors. So you would fill your fill colors and you can pick a background. If you want more options, you can go into more fill colors where you're going to get a color wheel so you can choose it. Or if you have a specific color, like some organizations will have a specific color with color numbering, and you can go in here and they will tell you what numbers it is to get the exact color that they use in their marketing material. And then you would have the eyedropper is pretty cool feature. So if you had a color there somewhere else and you want it to apply that exact color, you can click on the eyedropper and that will pick up one drop of that color and then you can drop that color somewhere else. So that's a cool feature. You can also choose to fill it with a picture. That would be like an actual picture to store it on your computer. And gradients are different levels. And then textures are some of the built-in features that that PowerPoint offers. So choosing different backgrounds and shapes and stuff like that is pretty much identical to how you would do it in Word. So I'm sure you're familiar with that. So then we have the next thing we're going to look at is changing the slide size and the page setup. So this is on Design tab. So in the Design tab, you have the Slide Size button. So if you choose your Slide Size button, mouthful, you can choose to alter your presentation to be a standard size, which is the original version of PowerPoint, as opposed to the widescreen. Widescreen is something that we've evolved into because most of the TVs and everything now is widescreen. So it's not like the little box that used to sit on the floor that our grandparents had. Nope. So now most everybody's TV is a widescreen. So PowerPoint has evolved to be a widescreen presentation. But if you wanted it to just be a standard size, you can resize it and it will resize it for you. And then you would just have to adjust your information accordingly to make sure it all fit back on that size screen. And if you wanted a custom size, it would be here under the custom size. So I'm going to put it back on widescreen for us. This is also where we get to choose a design or a theme. So a design or a theme is preset ones that PowerPoint has built into it that we get to work through and pick. And there's more if you work down, so you can just go through and find one that you like. And then when you do, you would just click on it and it would apply to all of your slides. Now I deleted my title slide, which I probably should have left because each one's title slide is different than the content slides as well. So when you have a full slide, you can also format the background of the slide. So when you choose to format the background here, you're not formatting the background of just the text box. You're formatting the background of the whole slide. So you can do some pretty wild things in pattern and make it as crazy as you want. You can go solid fill, you can go gradient fill, you can choose anything. And once you choose your fills, then it will apply to each one for you. And this is also if you want to put in the pictures and the textures, this is where you're going to find all those same pictures and textures. So you can play around with the different options and the different textures and pictures and fill patterns and all that stuff that's available in there. So you can also create your own. So if there is a specific color combination that you want it to store because you're going to use this over and over and over, it's under the variants. So if you click the drop down for variants and you went into color, then under the color you have all these different options that are preset variants of this slide theme, or you can go into customize, and once you're in customize, you can choose exactly what colors you want for where. So if we wanted this light green to be red, then we could just save it and then that would change. And you can design your own color combinations by using that custom section. And the exact same thing is true for fonts. So if you went into variants, you can choose fonts. So there are preset designs for fonts, and if there's one you want to change, then you would just customize it and you can change your fonts as well. And wow, I think I got it covered. So those are the main things that's covered in chapter 3 for you guys to work through, and we will move into chapter 4 on next class.